What's going on, guys? It's Jerome. I'm back at it again with another episode of NBA Kicks, the show where we count down the 10 best sneakers in the NBA every single week of the season. This week's episode has a ton of signature sneaker debuts, which is always very exciting. You could argue it's the most exciting thing about this show, but the rest of the list has some throwback sneakers that I think are gonna be pretty nostalgic for you guys. So overall, it's a really well-rounded list. I can't wait to share with you guys. So let's play that intro. This is week 2. What am I doing with my hands of NBA Kicks? Starting off the list at number 10, we have Jalen Green with the Adidas G.O.A.T Boost Resto Mod. The G.O.A.T Boost was one of the more interesting comeback stories of last season, but this silhouette has had a cult following throughout the years, so it is nice to see it back on the court, especially in some new colorways. Jalen Green of the Rockets rocks this orange gradient colorway, which is banked with white, gray, and black accents, but also features some player-exclusive branding on the heel with a nice cursive G, which could stand for Jalen Green or Gilbert Arenas. Or it could just stand for good colorway, which it is. Next up at number 9, we got Luka Doncic with the Jordan Luka 1. Jordan Brand hooks Luka up with a new colorway of his first signature sneaker, which for some reason is inspired by the Florida Gators. Now, from a brand perspective, I understand why Jordan Brand would make a Florida University colorway, since Florida is sponsored by Jordan Brand, but why Luka is specifically rocking these, I'm not really too sure. But either way, you gotta love the classic blue and orange color scheme, which is all rounded out with black hits, as well as a Florida Gator logo on the tongue. Who knows, maybe Luka growing up as a kid really wanted to go to Florida University, or maybe he just likes Gators, or maybe I'm just overthinking this and should just appreciate these for what they are, which I will. Next up at number 8, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo with the Zoom Freak 3. Giannis debuts the latest alphabet soup colorway from his signature line, but this time around, everything takes a more neutral approach. Using an orange and brown color scheme, this colorway is an upgrade in my opinion, as I'm a huge fan of the toned down colors and overall hunting vibe, which fits right in with the city of Milwaukee. I know there's gonna be some of you guys that are going to miss the really colorful versions of the alphabet soup colorways of before, but like I said, I really like this updated look, and I'm also just a huge fan of the Freak 3s with their reverse swoosh design and sculpted midsole. The Freak signature line is one of the more recognizable signature lines out there today, which is a huge plus for Giannis and Nike, especially in a day and age where a lot of sneakers just kind of look the same. Coming in at number 7, we have DeJounte Murray with the New Balance two-way V3. One of my favorite sneakers of the season so far, the two-way V3 from New Balance, just got a new colorway, this time from the Atlanta Hawks' newest guard. Now this colorway is pretty basic, with its white team color scheme with hits of red and yellow to complete the Atlanta Hawks theme. However, the tongue does feature a DM5 tag alongside a skyline of Seattle, which is the home city of DeJounte Murray, and it offers a nice personal touch. But overall, I just really love this silhouette, and you're gonna have to put a really atrocious colorway on them to ruin it for me. But so far, New Balance has not done that, so fingers crossed. Next up at number 6, we have Montrezl Harrell with the LeBron 9. Montrezl Harrell brings back the very underrated LeBron 9 silhouette with a new retro colorway, which is inspired by the theme park. According to Nike's official website, this colorway is inspired by summer nights at the amusement park, where Nike says to take a step in LeBron's world. Now this colorway has a very unique makeup with light shades of pink, as well as that teddy bear brown fuzzy fabric on the upper, which give the LeBron 9 some new life. But an underrated part about this colorway is how that swoosh really pops off of the silhouette. And oh, did I mention that the entire upper is 3M reflective material as well? Yeah, that's an easy way to get on my good side. So huge shout out to Nike for coming up with this new colorway, but $230? Sheesh.
I made a tremendous amount of money. Tremendous amount. It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't even believe it myself. You want to know the truth? I don't even believe it.
Next up at number 5, we have Derrick Rose with the D Rose Son of Shy 2.0. It's been a while since we talked about Derrick Rose on NBA Kicks, mainly due to the fact that his signature line just isn't as popular as it once was, but it is still going strong, and this latest silhouette definitely caught my eye. Using a subtle gradient fade on the upper in orange, this colorway also is accompanied by cooler tones throughout with hits of aqua and purple, but what really steals the show here is that gradient design is also featured on the outsole. Now usually I'm not a huge fan of exposed stitching on sneakers, but this time I'm going to give the Son of Shy 2.0 a pass here, since that exposed stitching does move with the upper extremely well to give the silhouette a unique look, which again, definitely caught my attention. But man, this really got me thinking, like, I really miss how D Rose sneakers used to be really hyped up. I mean, they were great encore performers, but Adidas marketing around that time was really solid as well. I mean, some of the Derrick Rose Adidas basketball commercials were just epic, with my favorite one, the one where he was spinning the shoe on his finger. I mean, that's just a classic. How do you do it? Next up at number 4, we got Jimmy Butler with the debut of the JB1. Our first signature sneaker debut of the episode comes from overseas brand Li Ning and Jimmy Butler, but I need your guys' help on picking which colorway we should crown as the best. Jimmy rocked a pink and white colorway against the Blazers, an orange colorway against the Bulls, and a more traditional white, black, and red colorway against the Warriors. Personally, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the orange colorway since it's just that much more unique. But either way, the JB1 is just one excellent looking silhouette. And while yes, you could say that all Li Ning sneakers kind of look the same, in a way that's a backhanded compliment because all of their silhouettes as of lately have been looking pretty clean. Look, at the end of the day, I'm just really happy for Jimmy because he finally got his own signature sneaker, which is just a major accomplishment. And Jimmy is one of the hardest working dudes in the league, and he has one of the best stories in sports in general. So huge shout out to Jimmy and Li Ning for giving Jimmy his due. Next up at number 3, we have Zion Williamson with the Zion 2. The Lakers and Pelicans had an absolute thriller in LA, which saw Zion debut a new colorway of his second signature sneaker. Right off the bat, this is the type of colorway that just catches your eye through the TV with that really bright orange monochromatic upper. But as I took a closer look at this colorway, I realized that it reminded me a lot of the 2012 All-Star lineup. In particular, it reminded me of the LeBron 9 from that All-Star weekend, which saw the same treatment on the upper, as well as a glow-in-the-dark outsole, which I'm not too sure if these Zions have that, but the translucent outsole definitely gives off that vibe. Who knows, maybe Zion's favorite sneaker growing up was the LeBron 9 Big Bang, and when it came time to make new colorways of his own signature sneaker, he decided to slide that inspiration in there, or maybe it's just one big coincidence. Either way, these are loud, colorful, and the third best sneaker on this week's list. Coming in as our runner-up, we have Trae Young with the Adidas Trae 2. So here's our first look at the Trae 2 from Adidas, which definitely takes a step forward in terms of premium features, but might not be the shoe for everybody. The biggest change in the design has to do with the materials, with a fully knitted design on the upper, which isn't very stable of a material, but it is a very comfortable one. On top of that, the Trae 2 does use a two-piece design on the outsole, which kind of sits high from the ground from what I can tell picking these up in store. So that in combination with the minimal upper might not be the most stable experience for those more explosive or lateral players. But performance is one thing. I think the Trae 2 is a pretty slick looking sneaker, and obviously has some of that Adidas DNA in them, as it looks very similar to the BYXs, which dropped a few years back. And since I was a huge fan of how those looked visually, you guys already know I'm digging these Trade 2s visually as well. My only criticism about this colorway is that I wish those colors were a little bit more of a deeper tone. I think that would give it a more like Gucci premium designer type look, but the primary colors pop as well, so I'm really just picking nits here. Finally, at number 1, we have LaMelo Ball with the debut of the MB.O.2. LaMelo Ball's first signature sneaker with Puma was a huge success. It was extremely popular throughout the board, and at least for me, I think that its success really caught me off guard. To be completely honest with you guys, I really wasn't expecting Puma's first signature sneaker in about 20 years to be that popular, but I honestly could not be happier for LaMelo and Puma and their success, which has me really excited to see what these MB.O.2s have to offer. For the most part, the MB.O.2s use a very similar shape to its predecessor, but completely reworked the upper with new materials and an overall sleeker design. Now you still have those flame-like graphics on the upper, which I personally think those graphics look a lot better here on the sequel. And obviously that same bright orange/crimson color scheme is still intact, but Puma made a very wise decision here and added just a splash of blue throughout. That very small subtle change, in my opinion, just makes this colorway stand out even more, as the reds are just more red and the blue is more blue. It just creates a really nice contrast on the colorway. And when I say I couldn't be more happier with how the MB.O.2s came out visually, I really mean that. And it's really got me intrigued on how they actually play on the court, because I thought there were some things in the MB.O.1s that definitely could have used some improvements. But for now, let's just marvel at Puma's piece de resistance and officially crown the MB.O.2 as the best sneaker worn in the NBA during week 2 of the 2022-23 season. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this week's episode of NBA Kicks, which if you did, make sure you hit that like button because it really helps me and the channel out. It'll make me feel good. It'll make you feel good because you did a good deed. I'll pass the good deed along. Someone else will pass that one along, and around we go. My name's Taryn. It's great having you. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.